One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Well, we made it to Christmas Day, man. Much love, honor, respect to everybody in the building. Shout out to everyone. Much love, honor, respect. And great to see everyone, man. Listen, we took yesterday off because, unfortunately, when I had woke up and the news cycle, I checked the news cycle right when I wake up. It was nothing but parades, which, mind you, I love Christmas parades and stuff like that. But for us to go ahead and report on parades all day or for the previous 24 hours was just straight about parades and shit. So nonetheless, we're back today, back to reality, even though it's Christmas morning. We do have a lot of things that did happen, in fact, yesterday after the show, after the show timing that I would have been off. Sometime in the afternoon, there was a lot of stuff that came out. So nonetheless, the way that I have this lined up is I say more than 1 million new Epstein files found, Democrats claim Trump cover-up, and more. And yes, so the way that I consolidated this down is just that title. But let me go ahead and break you down the actual chronological lineup we've got. So Delaware state troopers shot execution style, witness says. And it looks like this happened in Delaware State. So Delaware State troopers shot, and killed at a DMV location in Wilmington, on Tuesday, which is very unfortunate. And then we also have another very unfortunate event that happened over there in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania nursing home explosion, at least 2 killed, others accounted for, and it came out to be something like 20 others hurt. So 2 killed and 20 others hurt, which is terrible. Moving on. U.S. continues to build up military assets around Venezuela. I think that we are all keen to that fact, right? And then we have an update regarding that whole Pennsylvania officials update on nursing home explosion, which is great. We do need an explanation for that. And then we have flash flooding warning. LA hit with powerful storms. This actually came out yesterday, sometime after the show, and I wanted to bring that up and show you guys some of the California is under mega destruction on many different folds, but them getting drowned out by rain is definitely the last thing they needed. But anyways, we have an ICE shooting. Man shot after attempting to run over federal agents, police say. An ICE-involved shooting occurred on Christmas Eve in Maryland, according to officials. So this happened in Maryland as well. So officials say ICE agents were conducting an operation when they approached a white van, according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Agents identified 2 undocumented immigrants in the van, Diego Alexandra and something else, from Portugal, and Solomon Antonio from El Salvador. DHS said that when the agents told Martins to turn off the van. He rammed the van into the ICE vehicles, then tried to run over the agents. That's when agents started shooting at the van, hitting Salsa Martins. The van then crashed into a nearby tree. Both men were taken to a hospital where they were both in stable condition. Wow. A lot of shit going on there. And then we have some things regarding the Epstein files. As you guys see, about a million more different files or documents regarding Epstein has been found, I guess, by the DOJ. And the DOJ is to be putting these out somewhat soon. I don't know what the exact timeline is. But nonetheless, let me go ahead and show you what WION is reporting on, which is the Indian news. Epstein file, 1 million new Epstein files found. Justice Department confirms, yes. And then same thing from WION. Israel and Syria diplomacy. U.S. backs Russia's mediation in Syria talks. And then one of the last things, or one of the two last things that we got on WION, India's nuclear triad complete. Now, because I was looking at the Indian news this morning, I happened to come across this whole K-4 missile that was fired from one of their submarines. And I was like, oh shit, I definitely want to show you guys that. And then regarding to the Epstein files again, DOJ to review newly discovered documents. Democrats accused Trump administration of cover-up. And yes, we already knew that that was going to be a thrown accusation. Another very interesting thing that's happened within the last week or so, a little less than a week. It looks like Tim Walz has got himself into a little bit of a pickle there, up there. What is he, Minnesota or whatever it is. Nonetheless, he's got himself in some sort of fraud scheme, and a whole bunch of mayors came together to go against him. I mean, it was like a lot of mayors that came up and proposed that he's doing some fraudulent activities. And they're also trying to pass something so that what he had done, meaning Tim Walz, can never be done again. So, very interesting lineup that we've got this morning. So let me go ahead and get myself lined up here so that we can be right on this. Let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the channel, make sure you guys come over and hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Make sure you double tap that screen on the vertical side. I very much appreciate that. But let's go ahead and get it into the money part. Please consider becoming a member. Starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to have these lights on and be on these airwaves. So I very much appreciate you guys becoming members and staying members. Well, side note here, follow my Instagram right here at Ball Valve TV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. Make sure you guys follow me over there. And that's also a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. We have a Discord server for all you legends as well for the Insane Wheels family. Make sure you guys go into the video description down below. It'll have all the invite links. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live onto the show and shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to. And of course, I'll read out anything that comes our way, just like a super chat. So you can get yourself involved and have your voice heard. All right. Good morning to everybody. Hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves. We got Miss Lotus in the building and Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning to you, ladies. We've got S&S Contracting as well as Gary. Good morning. Great to see you guys. We got Mountain Woman as well. Good morning. We got Kel up there in Canada. Good morning, as well as Straight Jacket, my man. 6-0 Smoke. Yes, sir. Great to see you. And why are you gay? Why are you gay? Got you. We got Clover Tax saying busy days. Just stopping to say Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas to you and yours and everyone that's here, man. Very much appreciate all of you guys. All right, let's go ahead and get right into this, though. Let's go ahead and start off with the very first story. Delaware state trooper shot execution style, witnesses say. Let's go ahead and bring that up for you guys right here. And let's go.
Here's their live broadcast. Let's pull the audio up.
45 minutes later, the shooting. This is video from a live stream camera typically used by visitors to monitor wait times. And you can see what looks like a bullet hole in the glass there. This is the Fox 29 News.
Yeah, I don't know how well you guys could see that, but where they got this yellow circle over here, it does, you can see some sort of bullet hole right here in the window.
This is the Fox 29 News at 6 on a busy and what's shaping up to be a solemn Tuesday for our area, just 2 days before Christmas. I'm Sheba Russell. All Delaware DMV locations are closed right now. The investigation just beginning. Let's get right out to our Chris O'Connell live at that DMV.
Okay, now that they're not showing anything in real time, we're going to go and speed them up a little bit.
In Wilmington. Chris, what's the latest?
Well, Sheba, shocking and somber afternoon here in Newcastle, Delaware. A Delaware state trooper shot and killed by a gunman in the middle of the day inside a busy division of motor vehicles here just out.
Yeah, over there in the DMV.
Outside of Wilmington, the Delaware state trooper is dead. That gunman also killed by law enforcement. Take a look behind me. This is still...
So they both died. The gunman and the victim, unfortunately.
A very active scene here in Newcastle. A massive police response here just after 2 o'clock this afternoon at the DMV office.
What's up, Joseph, up there in Canada? Great to see you, by the way. And he says, stop the cap. Yes, sir.
Stop the cap.
Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Off of Hessler Boulevard. When an active shooter was reported, law enforcement came rushing in. Witnesses reported that a state trooper was shot, execution style, inside. Now, police confirmed the shooter in the incident has been killed. No identification on that shooter yet. We do know the DMV was open and operating at the time. This is where people get
What's up, Pablo, by the way? Good morning.
Driver's license on a routine basis, renew their vehicle registrations. But so far, no motive or any word of any other injuries. We're still awaiting that. The Delaware State Police posting this grim message confirming the fatality, saying one Delaware State trooper has been confirmed killed during the incident. We are continuing to assess additional injuries. Please avoid the area. The area has been shut down. Route 13, DuPont Highway.
Man, this is way unfortunate right here. You guys can see that bullet hole from that right over there on the glass on the DMV. Very brutal. We got Johnny Reno, my man, saying Merry Christmas, Mikey and crew. Yes, sir. Great to see you in the chat, and Merry Christmas to you
Side
as well.
is back open tonight. Now, the DMV, Sheba, as you were alluding to, has live video feeds from inside their facilities where you can see how long the wait is. You can actually see glass shattered in there, shoes and other...
Well, why don't you guys show the actual footage? I mean, blur out what you have to, but obviously they got security cameras right here. Why don't they show the actual... Pull the fucking video.
Personal belongings as police were investigating. We anticipate a media briefing, hopefully over the next couple hours or so. Alex George is standing by for that one nearby in Newark, Delaware. Now, we did just let's bring you back out here live. I wanted to read a statement from Senator Chris Coons, the Delaware senator. He says, I am heartbroken by today's shooting at the Wilmington DMV that took the life of a Delaware state trooper just 2 days before Christmas. This officer put on their uniform this morning and went to work to make our community safer. Now they will never come home.
Which is devastating. Absolutely. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on, though. We got another devastating story that happened, I believe, yesterday or the day before. But nonetheless, Pennsylvania, there was a nursing home that exploded and killed at least 2 and injured 20 others. It's very brutal story here, and I really haven't been following along with it, but besides right now, I haven't watched this and figured out what the actual case is. So most likely we're going to be skipping around a little bit on this, but anyways,
we are hearing an update on the explosion at a nursing home in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Let's listen in live.
I'm also joined this evening by Randy Patfield, the PEMA director, who immediately came.
Real quick, we got Glare 1%er up in the building. Shout out to my man. Morning all, just stopping in to beat the like button like a broken dishwasher. Yes, sir. I like that. Good morning and Merry Christmas.
Partners, as he does so ably every day. I know there have been a number of local leaders who have been here this evening. We're joined by Commissioner Bob Harvey from our county, as well as Senator Sanacero and others who I know will make their way here. As I said, this is a very, very tragic moment for this community. An explosion occurred just a few hours ago. There are investigations underway as to what caused that explosion. The PUC is here on the ground working with PICO. We believe preliminarily that it was a gas leak that led to that. The explosion was really quite catastrophic. We know that at this time, there are at least 2 fatalities. We know that there are some number of individuals still missing. I want to say that in the immediate moments...
I agree with that, Jonathan, as well. all anybody wants in the case of Epstein files is just government transparency, which is what Trump ran on. And that's it.
After the
Simple.
explosion, you saw what real heroism is all about. Firefighters rushed to this scene in order to contain the explosion, in order to put out the fire, and most importantly, in order to rescue people. They were quite literally climbing up ladders, handing individuals in this nursing home to police who were at times carrying 2 people on their back to safety. I think that too oftentimes in our communities, we don't appreciate that type of heroism, and that is what was on display here in Bucks County today. Police officers literally carrying people to their safety, firefighters.
Yeah, that's terrible. We got America Uncensored up in the building. AU, great to see you in the chat, and Merry Christmas.
Rushing toward a fire as others were trying to get away in order to keep this community safe, in order to stop the fire from spreading, and in order to be in a position today where thank God, things were not worse than we know they already are. There will be a lot more information we learn.
And of course, they're not going to be talking about much of the information here, but let's go ahead and hear what the fire chief has to say, or at least someone from the fire department. Let's go ahead and hear what they have to say about this real quick. And then we're going to move on because we have an updated version of the story with PA officials giving the update. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this.
Thank you, Governor. This afternoon at 2:19, the explosion occurred. It is the facility is located directly across from one of our rescue squads, right next to the Lower Bucks Hospital, in close proximity to the fire department. When the explosion occurred, the radios lit up with reports of the explosion.
Hell yeah, Kel, that's awesome.
At the Silver Lake Nursing Home.
You have a good one.
Fire department responded quickly, was on scene within a couple of minutes. When we arrived, there was a major structural collapse with parts of the first floor into the basement.
Damn, so not only the explosion happened, but then you had floor collapsing into the basement and shit? Oh my God.
Was trapped. Fire department personnel immediately went into a rescue mode. They pulled many residents out of the building via windows, doors, stuck in stairwells, stuck in elevator shafts.
Yeah, so 20 other people got injured on this too. It's like
those who were outside the building already injured, and those that were being brought out by the fire department were handed off to the police officers, which came from every direction, and I believe every municipality around here, and were literally carrying the patients.
Merry Christmas, Mountain Woman. Great to see you in the chat.
As we handed them off to them, they were carrying patients, and as the governor said, there was one police officer who literally threw 2 people over his shoulders and ran with people to help, to definitive health care.
Bless that dude right there.
It was nothing short of extraordinary, the operation that was taking place.
Firefighters are so fucking amazing people, dude. They're great people.
When we entered the collapse zone, we did rescue 2 people from the actual structure in the basement. We did have a heavy odor of gas at that time. We got everyone out that we could find, that we could see, and we exited the building. Within approximately
Hell yeah, Johnny, that's awesome.
15 to 30 seconds of us exiting the building, knowing there was a heavy odor of natural gas around us, there was another explosion and fire. We kept the fire in check without giving up the source. The fire actually helped us identify where the leak was coming from in the basement, and we just prevented it from spreading into other parts of the building. Chief, turn it over to the Chief of Bristol Township Police Department, C.J. Winnick.
Thank you, Chief. As the governor said, this is an extreme tragedy that happened to a vulnerable portion of our community at a nursing home. We responded to these calls, and everything that we did was nothing short of heroic. These officers, firefighters, EMT.
No, I agree with all that, but I want to get the facts of the thing here, not just giving accolades to people right now. All right, we're going to get the updated version here in a second, but first we're going to go into U.S. continues to build up military assets around Venezuela, which is something that we're already keen to. We've been reporting and following what's going on in regards to Venezuela and the United States. But real quick, let's go ahead and embrace our fuck ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Yes, embrace the fucking process, homies.
Oh my God!
All right, let's go ahead and get right into this shit.
All right, you're watching live now. I'm Austin Westfall, the Wall Street Journal, with this exclusive. The U.S. moving large numbers of special operations aircraft, troops, and equipment into the Caribbean area this week, giving Washington additional options for possible military action in Venezuela. That's according to U.S. officials and open source flight tracking data, according to the Journal.
What's up, Jimmy Mack? Good morning to you and Merry Christmas, man.
Marine intelligence officer, national security analyst, and host of the Strat podcast, Hal Kempfer, here with me to discuss. Hal, what's the primary national security rationale behind moving special operations aircraft and troops into the Caribbean, and how does the administration justify this deployment under U.S. law and international law, given the absence of a formal war declarance?
Well, Austin, we haven't had a formal congressional declaration of war since World War II, so we've always operated under other things. The Korean War was under a UN mandate. Basically, we got to pass through the Security Council. And then there was, of course, if you go back to the War on Terror, we had the original post 9/11 authorization for use of force, and that kept getting modified till we were doing stuff in Libya against Muammar Gaddafi, still claiming some sort of tenuous connection to that use of force document. But we haven't yet done anything on the ground. We haven't yet violated the sovereignty, although we have a blockade.
No, Johnny, I could not imagine that. That'd be out of control.
In place around Venezuela, a maritime naval blockade. It's for sanctioned tankers only. There are other ships that are allowed to go through there. And we have stopped 2 tankers. We have 1 tanker. We're in hot pursuit.
Yeah, and then we attempted a 3rd.
To stop. They have not complied with boarding yet. And technically, a blockade is an act of war. But so far, unless Congress acts, the War Powers Act won't be, clock won't be ticking. And Congress hasn't taken any action saying that the War Powers Act is in effect.
Hal, one thing that I've been tracking is, as you mentioned, the tanker that's being chased right now. We're looking at the video right now. This is the 2nd tanker that was boarded by U.S. forces. How do you assess the risk of this buildup escalating into open conflict with Venezuela or other states in the region? What might trigger a shift from posture and then over to active operations?
Well, what I think the big shift will be is if we violate the territorial, sovereign territory of Venezuela in this one. I don't know that we're looking at any military operations or active military operations. Rhetorically, we certainly alluded to a lot of things to include within Mexico, but we haven't seen anything specific. What we have now sitting off Venezuela is a very robust, and that's what this buildup is. When you see more special operations aircraft, more special operations troops, or troops capable of special operations coming in, that tells me that we're getting ready to do maybe a series of raids, which would make sense.
Shit. I mean, it's definitely escalating up there or down there in Venezuela for sure.
Use the airstrikes, use whatever other capabilities we have in terms of strike missions, which could be drones, could be missile strikes, could be a lot of different things. Could even be naval gunfire in certain cases. And then you do essentially amphibious raids in a variety of places. And what that does, it keeps the enemy constantly guessing where you are. And what you end up...
What's up, Virgil, and Merry Christmas?
With the raid is you don't have an absolute combat power, and we don't have enough forces down there to invade Venezuela and overthrow the military. Something that we've seen certainly from Iraq and other operations we've done over the last 30 some years.
Well, anyways, the rest of this is pretty much going to be speculation, and he's very, very accurate with his speculations, however, but nonetheless, I really don't want to hear speculation right now. I want to hear the fact of the equation. So the Wall Street Journal, this is what it was originally being posted here. Exclusive, the U.S. moved a large number of troops and additional special operations aircraft into the Caribbean this week. And that is, a sign of escalation. All right, we're going to move on, though. We have an update from the Pennsylvania officials, update on nursing home explosion. So let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys, and we'll see what they have to tell us.
Good morning. Thank you for coming. My name is CJ Winnick. I'm the Chief of Police of the Bristol Township Police Department. Follow up on the tragedy that occurred yesterday. We do have 2 fatalities, and our thoughts and prayers go out to those families this time of year. What we're here to report, we have an ongoing investigation. We're working with local, state, and federal authorities, and we are going to confirm that there was originally 20 injured. We have 19 still hospitalized, 1 in critical condition.
Fuck. 19 are hospitalized right now, and 1 is in critical. Damn.
We're here to thank everybody that helped us, assist us yesterday in this tragedy that occurred. They are currently ongoing, conducting an investigation and going through the building to determine the cause of this incident. I'm here with Chief Kevin DiPolito of the Fire Department, and he'll answer any questions you have.
As far as the investigation into the cause of the explosion, that is still under investigation. We have heavy machinery on site right now that's helping us excavate the area.
So they don't really know the exact. Oh, I didn't at least catch it. They probably do know, but they haven't really explained what the cause of the explosion was. But the explosion, however, whatever it was, exploded the first floor, and it crumbled into the basement as well.
Until we excavate that area and remove the walls and roofs that collapsed, we won't have any idea
Michael?
what may have occurred in there. We're hoping to make significant progress today, and if we don't know by the end of today, we will continue our investigation over the next several days.
Chief, there were reports that there was a smell of gas that was ongoing before
There were reports of people smelling gas.
crews arrived from the gas company. Can you confirm that?
I can't confirm that. We haven't done any.
He said, I cannot confirm that.
Fire department hasn't done any of those investigations. That's being handled by law enforcement at the federal level.
But did the fire department receive any calls about
Negative.
smell?
No, we did not.
No.
Ken, I'm told by some sources that PICO was out there on site investigating a potential gas leak, and that the PICO...
I am unable to confirm that. That would...
Shit, we got my man King Adam in the building with the $4.99. Man, I very much appreciate the $5. Thank you for making it rain in the building. My man. And he came all the way out for JR's special campaign kickoff, man. And it was great to hang out with him again. You know, we originally linked up for the first time over there at DebateCon in Nashville. And man, he's such a good dude.
Come from law enforcement.
Chief, a few questions.
Says for the goal, man. Thank you.
At this point, how many people are still unaccounted for, do you know?
Everybody is accounted for.
We confirm that. That's the list that we were provided with the agency that was running this facility. We went down that list several times, and everybody is accounted for.
And are you able to share at this time if the two victims that died were employees or residents?
One was a resident, one was an employee.
The 52-year-old woman, the employee.
There were years of documented inspections that flagged various concerns, everything apparently from lack of fire extinguishers to fire exit plans. To your knowledge, were any of the previous concerns that were raised potentially relevant in what happened in the stretch?
I can't comment on that because it's an ongoing investigation.
You share the age of the ages of the two individuals you know?
I do not have those ages with me.
So far, he's not really giving out that much information from this. He did announce how many people were affected in this, but really is dodging anything about the explosion aspect. Sounds like it's a gas leak situation, but that's me assuming, right? And so, of course, that's all speculation. Until these guys come out and actually give an actual answer, that's what I do, is I report that. So anyways, we're going to move on. Flash flood warning had hit LA super hard. LA hit with powerful storms. So let's go ahead and bring this up. But first, before we
maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit.
Denied.
All right, let's go ahead and move on into this flash flood warning that hit LA pretty hard.
Right now, I do want to head over to that area as we do have Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell joining us live with a look at conditions there. And Brandy, definitely.
We got Hardwire one. Man, my man, great to see you in the chat. Hopefully that you're also enjoying your your Christmas morning. Jesus, I'm all over the fucking place. Great to see you, bro.
The rain is coming down.
Good morning.
What are you seeing?
Yeah, good morning to you. So it has been a wet morning, and at times the rain's coming down pretty heavy. This area, we're in Malibu, just outside of LA, expected to get 3 to 5 inches of rain through this week. We're also under a level 3 out of 4 risk for flash flooding also through the end of the week. So I want to show you where we are here. You can see there's a road closure. This is Topanga Canyon Boulevard, just off of the PCH. So this was closed down as of last night until...
Did she say the PCH? Oh my God, dude.
Why are you gay?
An undetermined end date. As you can see, they have a sign over to the right saying that the road is closed and the reopening is to be determined. So all of this obviously coming at terrible timing, with this being the Christmas week holiday, with today being Christmas Eve. So many people wanting to be home celebrating the holiday with their families. But instead, we have situations like this because some areas are under evacuation.
Yeah, stay inside, motherfuckers.
Warnings, including this region here where there are burn scars, but also some areas, some homes, specific ones that have been determined by the county are under mandatory evacuations. So our local Fox affiliate here in LA, they actually did a ride-along with the sheriff's deputy yesterday as he knocked on doors, making sure people knew they were under that mandatory evacuation. Take a listen.
So you guys are under mandatory evacuation. So you think you're going to stay? Okay.
For a while, at least. For a while.
Well, we know we have issues. Right.
Damn, they're telling the sheriff straight up, no, we ain't going.
We have any particular issues with any of this here? It's hard to tell people, hey, you got to go, right? And it's also hard to tell people, hey, if you don't go, you're putting yourself in a really tough spot, especially if all this water comes down within these next couple days. So you got.
That's right. That's right. When you say the Pacific Coast Highway, that's cool. That's cool, but the PCH, I don't know. Just everyone just says straight up PCH, homie. You going down PCH? You know? I don't say I'm going down the PCH. I don't know. Gotta be. I don't know. With it. We got Farrah up in the building. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
All right. And again, that mandatory evacuation
Merry
and
Christmas.
evacuation warnings, they are in place just because of the heavy rainfall expected that could lead to some landslides, mudslides, rock slides in the area. So again, for this road that's closed down, also for that same reason. And, you know, Josh, just for more perspective of how out of the norm it is for these guys, it's usual for them to have these atmospheric rivers dumping rounds of rain during this time of year. However, this month of December, LA hasn't really had any rain up until these atmospheric rivers started coming to the region over the weekend and such. So it's been dry, and now they're just getting it all dumped.
Shit. We got Warland in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you. Great to see you. All right. And we also got is it Vadis? Vadis there? I don't know. Merry Christmas. Great to see you in the chat. Appreciate you. And Warlander says, Miker, yes, sir. All right. We're going to move on. ICE shooting, man shot after attempting to run over federal agents, police say. Now, this is seems like a pretty dramatic ordeal here.
Take a look.
Guy literally rammed into all the police cars and shit. It was an ordeal.
At this video right here, as 3
Why is it so low?
investigations are underway after ICE officers shot at a driver.
It's on their side.
Homeland Security says was trying to run the ICE officers over. Fox 5 DC's Stephanie Ramirez joining us here with the latest. And Stephanie, as we mentioned, there is a lot to this situation. What do we know, and what at this point don't we know?
There is
Vatisa. That's a cool name.
still a lot of questions here. Good morning from the greater DC region. We are in Glen Burnie, Maryland this morning. This community here, Ten House community, is where this incident unfolded yesterday on Christmas Eve. And so right now we have...
By the way, we have 337 of you guys in here. Make sure you guys double tap that screen, and as well as hit the like button on the horizontal side. And sorry for that being extra loud just now. It hurt my fucking ears too. I cranked it up because they got the video so fucking low, so I got to crank this up. So anyways, back to this whole story here.
Two men in the hospital. One of them was shot by ICE. We're told that person is in stable condition. The second person injured in a crash connected to this scene. So we do have some video to show you. There's a van involved, and that van, you can see in one of the views that we had, did appear to have at least one bullet hole in the front windshield there. This all happened a little before 11 o'clock yesterday morning. There was no ICE spokesperson on scene to update reporters afterwards. So Anne Arundel County Police, they were here. They did give reporters a news conference without taking questions, but they said that according to preliminary information, ICE was working a detail in the area. Their enforcement and removal operations, or
Merry
ERO
Christmas, homies.
officers, had located a Portuguese national in the driver's seat of a van involved. A Salvadorian national was sitting in the passenger seat, and both men were set.
So one man was El Salvadorian. What was the other guy?
Operations, or ERO officers, had located a Portuguese national in the driver's seat of a...
So he was a Portuguese national from, I guess, Portugal, and then
van involved. A Salvadorian national was sitting
an El Salvadorian
in the passenger seat, and both men were said to be in the country illegally. We're told ICE approached the van, instructed the driver to turn it off. The Department of Homeland Security claims in a social media post that the driver then began ramming his van into several ICE vehicles and then drove directly at ICE officers, who fired back, fearing for their lives. The van then crashed afterward.
I can tell you that the Anne Arundel County Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division is handling the shooting investigation. The incident involving the assault on the agents is being handled by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And finally, there's going to be an internal investigation conducted, and that is through ICE under their Office of Professional Responsibility. Those are the basic details that we have right now. Again, it's still early.
And that was an Anne Arundel County Police spokesperson there. We can tell you, talking with different neighbors in the area, a lot of folks upset for different reasons. Now, the Anne Arundel County
No, Jonathan, it's America only.
executive did issue a statement. Not sure if you have it to show viewers there, but just to read some of it here. It says, quote, "This is exactly the kind of incident that I and my peers across the country have dreaded. We have federal law enforcement operating in our jurisdictions without the traditional notification of local police and often without identification. It is a recipe for violence, and that is what we experienced in our county today." Again, part of the statement from the Anne Arundel County executive, that is Stuart Pittman. So folks, again, upset for many different reasons here. The investigation continuing with at least 3 different investigations, as you mentioned up top, going or now happening because of this. Want to also note, very important here, Anne Arundel County Police wanted to make sure it was noted that their officers were not on scene, not a part of this. And also, thankfully, nobody else was injured in this, including the ICE officers who were on scene. Josh?
Wow, that's crazy.
All right, Steph.
Now, did they kill that guy? Let me see here. Officials say ICE agents were conducting an operation when they approached a white van, according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Agents identified 2 undocumented immigrants in the van, Diego from Portugal and Solomon from El Salvador. DHS said that the agents told Martins to turn off the van. He rammed the van into ICE vehicles, then tried to run over the agents. When the agents started shooting at the van, hitting Martins, the van then crashed into a nearby tree. Both men were taken to a hospital where they are both in stable condition. Wow. Holy shit. Totally interesting. All right. We're gonna move on, though, because we still got a lot to get through, and we're already 37 minutes in, and we got to wrap everything up into a single hour. That's what we do Monday through Friday. All right, so we're going to go into some Indian news. Let's go into the WION. Epstein files, 1 million new Epstein files found, Justice Department confirms. And let's go ahead and bring this up and discuss it here. Let's see what they are saying about it.
Thousands of Jeffrey
Okay, let me bring this volume correct again.
Epstein files are out, and there are 1 million more coming. The U.S. Justice Department says it has uncovered more documents.
Real quick, we got J.R. Bowling up in the building. Shout out to my man. Great to see it. Merry Christmas. And as you guys know, this is the man, the myth, the legend. He is going to be our next Alabama State Senate senator for District 4, man. So make sure, if you guys are here in District 4 in Alabama, make sure you guys go out and vote. And as well for you guys in your guys' local, I always tell everybody, you know, when it comes down to elections and electing governmental officials, when people get so amped up and ramped up about the president, I go, you know what? The presidency, yes, it's very important, but what you should really, really care about is your locals. So keep that same energy that you had for Trump or Kamala or whoever you were voting for, or whatever the case is. Make sure you guys get local. You know, that's how you're going to actually feel some change in your life. Anyways.
Potentially related to the late convicted sex offender. The documents are under review for public release. And in a statement, the DOJ said that it had received the new cache of over 1 million more documents from the Southern District of New York and the FBI. However, the documents will not be released instantly, as they will be redacted to protect the victims' identities. Democrats have once again hit out at the Justice Department.
And this is a very, very quick update, by the way.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer cited the discovery of the new documents to allege a massive cover-up by the Trump administration. Schumer called on the DOJ to release all the Epstein files without delay. Meanwhile, Ro Khanna, the Democratic representative from California, also slammed the Justice Department. In a post on X, Khanna questioned the timing of the discovery of new documents and urged the DOJ to release all files immediately. Under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, the US Justice Department was supposed to release all Epstein files by December 19th. However, the department has only released files in 2 batches so far. The DOJ has blamed the delay on the need to redact identities of thousands of Epstein's victims. However, Democrats have called the partial release a violation of the law and have threatened to sue the DOJ for contempt. So far, the Justice Department has released the Epstein files in 2 tranches. The first involved...
You just said that.
13,000 files, and another, including 11,000 files, was released in the second batch.
So 11,000, 13,000. Interesting.
But much of the disclosed material is heavily redacted.
Well, yeah, it was heavily redacted, for sure. All right, let's go into... We're going to get back into Epstein here in a couple stories, but I got a couple quick updates because we were on WION while I was researching this stuff this morning. I happened to come across a couple of things that they're talking about that the United States is not talking about currently. So I was like, well, fuck it. Well, let's go and this is what we do, world news. Israel-Syria diplomacy, U.S. backs Russia's mediation in Syria's talks. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll go ahead and discuss it real quick. And real quick, also, we got to get the money part over. We haven't done that.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Yes, perfect. All right, let's go ahead and do this. And make sure you guys hit that like button and double tap that screen. Listen, you guys don't have to like the craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here on this channel. So anyways.
And Russia has quietly joined US-backed efforts to broker a security arrangement between Israel and Syria. Now, according to CAN News, citing a senior defense official who's familiar with the matter, Moscow is looking to restore its military presence in southern Syria near Israel's border, returning to the position that it maintained before the fall of the Bashar al-Assad regime. The official added that Moscow is regaining its military footprint in Syria, repairing ties with Damascus and redeploying personnel and equipment to Latakia, a region largely vacated following the previous regime's collapse. Israeli officials reportedly view a renewed Russian presence in Syria as favorable compared to increased Turkish military or political influence in the region. While Moscow maintains a discreet role, the majority of direct negotiations have reportedly occurred in Baku, where Azerbaijan has been facilitating talks with delegations from both Israel and Syria. On the other hand, according to state media Sana, Syria's foreign minister, Asad Hassan al-Shabani, alongside Defense Minister Major General Muharraf Abu Khasra, and senior intelligence officials visited Moscow on Tuesday, following a recent Turkish visit to Damascus. Aligned media in the UAE reported that President Vladimir Putin held talks with Syrian officials on military matters.
So what they said here in the description, Russia is emerging as a key mediator in Israel-Syria diplomacy as Moscow reportedly expands its military presence in Syria. So that's the key point of why I wanted to show you guys what I'm showing right now, is Russia is now becoming a key mediator for Israel and Syria, which is very interesting. As you guys know, Russia really is the granddaddy of all of the Middle East, essentially. You know how Iran, yes, they fund the Axis of Resistance, but where does Iran get funded from? Well, that would be Russia. So, anyways.
This visit represents the latest engagement by Syria's new authorities with Russia, following the removal of Assad, a former Moscow ally, in December last year. Sana media also said that Putin reaffirmed support for Syria, emphasizing its unity, sovereignty and security while condemning Israeli violations of Syrian territory. In October this year, Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara visited Moscow to meet Putin, when the talks reportedly focused on maintaining Russia's military presence in Syria and also establishing ties with the new Syrian leadership.
Very interesting, though. I wanted to at least show that. And then while I was over there on WIN this morning collecting my news sources, I happened to see something that the United States is not obviously going to be reporting on. Is India's nuclear triad complete? K-4 missile fired from their submarine or whatever. let's go and bring this up because I figured that this would be super interesting for us to go ahead and see what happened just as of 4 hours ago.
On to some breaking news coming in this minute. India has...
Hell yeah, dismantled. I don't discriminate. I get a whole bunch of news sources from everywhere. So this is just a couple of things I grabbed from WION this morning.
Successfully test-fired the K-4 submarine-launched ballistic missile, delivering a decisive boost to the country's nuclear triad. Sources confirming the missile was tested for its full operational range of around 3,500 kilometers, a clear signal for long-range credibility. INS Arighat is no ordinary platform. Commissioned last year, it is India's second nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine designed to disappear beneath the sea for months.
Man, we got brother Steve Posey up in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning and Merry Christmas to you.
Survivable, deadly, and from this hidden bastion, the K-4 was launched, proving India's ability to strike back even in the darkest scenarios. The K-4 is a critical pillar of India's nuclear triad, the three-pronged force made up of land-based missiles, air-delivered nuclear weapons, and sea-based systems. And
Shit, real quick, we got Sterling Will with the $10, man, saying Merry Christmas, all you infidels and hoodlums. Yes, sir. Thank you for that and making it rain in the building. Very much appreciate that. Good morning and Merry Christmas, Sterling. Great to see you.
Together, they ensure that no adversary can neutralize India's nuclear capability with a first strike. Even if land bases are hit, submarines remain unseen, ready to respond. That second strike capability is what makes nuclear deterrence credible. And this successful test bridges a crucial gap as well. The K-4 fills the void between India's shorter-range K-15 missiles and the even longer-range SLBMs currently under development. And it also enhances the Arihant-class submarines, transforming them...
So this is only their second nuclear submarine they've got now.
...into the true platforms of deep strike capability. The missile launch has reaffirmed India's place among the world's true nuclear powers. In fact, the test of stealth, strength, and also strategy. And the message is absolutely clear. Deterrence from the deep is alive and ready. Let's go straight across now to Siddhant Sibal for more on this. Siddhant.
We'll see you on the flip side, Warland. Much love and Merry Christmas.
What more can you tell us about this? A very crucial move on part of India.
Well, it completes and strengthens India's sea-based leg of India's nuclear triad, that is the air and sea delivery systems, with a range of...
Oh my God, I can't even understand them.
3,500 kilometers. It provides great operational flexibility and reach compared to the previous version. It enhances the second strike capability, the ability to retaliate even after absorbing the first nuclear strike, because submarines are highly survivable. It also reinforces India's credible minimum deterrence and no force use nuclear doctrine, sending a strong strategic signal in the wider Indo-Pacific region amidst the evolving security challenges.
Okay, all right, well, that's enough of that. That's enough. Embrace your fuck-ups, homies. Embrace your fuck-ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Shit.
Thousands of Jeffrey...
All right, and this is the last update we've got on Jeffrey Epstein and the files regarding the million files that were found. Anyways, DOJ to review newly discovered documents. Democrats have now accused Trump administration of cover-up, which, of course, we all have been hearing that since day one regarding this whole thing.
Jeffrey Epstein files are out, and there are 1 million more coming reportedly. The U.S. Justice Department saying it has uncovered more documents potentially related to the late convicted sex offender. The documents are under review for public release. And in a statement, the DOJ said that it had received the new batch of over 1 million more documents from the Southern District of New York and the FBI. However, the documents will not be released instantly, as they will be redacted to protect the victims, reportedly. Democrats have once again hit out at the Justice Department. Meanwhile, in a post on X, the Senate Minority Leader cited the discovery of the new documents to allege a massive cover-up by the Trump administration. Schumer called on the DOJ to release all the Epstein files without delay. Ro Khanna, the Democratic representative from California, also slammed the Justice Department. In a post on X, Khanna questioned the timing of the discovery of the new documents and urged the DOJ to release all the files immediately. Under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, the U.S. Justice Department was supposed to release all Epstein files by the 19th of December. However, the department
much love, Jimmy Mack. We'll see you on the flip side, my man. And Merry Christmas.
Has only released files in 2 batches so far.
What's up, Doug?
The DOJ has blamed the delay on
Merry
the
Christmas.
need to redact identities of thousands of Epstein's victims. However, Democrats have called the partial release a violation of the law and have threatened to sue the DOJ for contempt. So far, the Justice Department has released the Epstein files in 2 batches. The first involved
13,000, and then the second batch was 11,000. All right, so that's all they're going to talk about there. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the naughty list, quote unquote. This is what Fox is reporting. Walz is in the hot seat as nearly 100 Minnesota mayors demand answers in fraud scandal. Now, this is a big thing that's been developing for the last, I think, maybe the last 3-4 days, something like that. And I've been watching it kind of behind the scenes of what's happening here, and it is a little bit out of control. We got Doug Ross coming in, by the way, gifting out a membership. Thank you for not only helping me, but someone in the Insane Wheels family, man. I very much appreciate that. And Merry Christmas to you, kind sir. We got Crystal Strange over there from South Africa, my man. Great to see you, and Merry Christmas. God bless, brother. Always appreciate you. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this whole Tim Walz thing, because it is a whole fucking ordeal.
The pressure is getting even higher for Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Nearly 100 mayors in his state penned a letter to leaders expressing concerns over the state's fiscal policy amid the ongoing fraud scandal. Part of the letter reads, fraud, unchecked spending, and inconsistent fiscal management in St. Paul have trickled down to our cities. Our state owes it to our citizens to practice responsible fiscal management and to stop taxing our families, seniors, and businesses out of Minnesota. Let's bring in now Andrew Mullen, the mayor of Wayzata, Minnesota. He is
Damn, so 98 mayors. Damn.
One of the mayors who signed onto this letter. Sir, thank you for joining us on this Christmas Eve. We greatly appreciate your time. In your words,
yes.
Why did you sign onto this letter? Why is it so important?
Sure. Well, good morning and Merry Christmas to you in studio and to all your viewers. You know, Minnesotans this season are waking up to coals in their stockings thanks to their government.
What's up, Alwine? Great to see you in the chat, by the way, and Merry Christmas.
And
bro.
a Grinch who stole Christmas, which is this egregious fraud. You know, many mayors signed onto this letter, including me. You know, in addition to the fraud, I have profound concerns about the macro level economy of Minnesota and how we're going to pay to clean up this mess and go forward. And you know, if you're a mayor, you're on the front lines, right? You're out there providing the basic services of police, fire, water, streets. And with all of this egregious fraud and overspending, what's left over to trickle down to invest in our local communities? Our taxpayers are going to make up the difference in the form of property taxes locally. And that's the primary reason why I signed on. We have to get them to pay attention, not to just the fraud, but what's the macro level path forward to fix it and to take a step out of this hole.
Yeah, and some of the points that are made here is that really you're looking at like the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce report and some of the challenges that the state is facing, where the state is ranking compared to all of the other states all across the nation.
Oh, shit.
And also making the argument that, you know, all of your cities are facing slowed business investment, rising costs. There are tax issues at play here as well. I mean, what do you want to say to your state government? What changes would you like to see?
Well, sure. If you note that Minnesota Commerce report, it's a rolling 5-year report, and we in Minnesota slipped from the middle to top to the bottom third to the bottom fifth. GDP growth 33rd out of 50, job growth 39 out of 50, labor force growth 40 out of 50, median household income 46 out of 50. all across.
No, I think that finally there's enough spotlight on it, Sterling, that it's being focused on.
Across a backdrop of one of the highest overall tax rates in the country, the second highest actually.
We've had a Somalian problem up there since the fucking 90s?
Sixth highest income. And so when you look at how are we going to pay for all this, we have to start talking about how do we provide the inputs to the outputs, meaning a robust economy puts pay into the system that allows us to invest in our infrastructure and where appropriate social services and a safety net. But we've come from an $18 billion surplus in this biennium, looking forward 2 years to a $2 to $3 billion deficit.
Just so you guys know, the man that's speaking right here is one of the mayors that signed. There was 98 Minnesotan mayors that are basically demanding some sort of, let me see what they read, answers and fraud scandal. That's what they're demanding. So we've got 98.
Deficit. Someone's going to have to pay for that.
He's one of them.
And what I think about for our local folks is what are the trade-offs that are going to be made in the investments in infrastructure, in police and fire, in water, and things that are basic, right? And so it's not just the fraud, it's now how do we clean it up?
Yeah, the shift in that from a surplus to...
We got Sterling coming in, gifting out 5 memberships, bro. That's huge. Let's go. My man, thank you very much. That goes a long freaking way. And thank you for not only helping me, but 5 others in the Insane Wheels family, man. I very much appreciate that.
The deficit is worth noting as well. But I don't want to leave this fraud story out of what we're talking about because it is such an enormous scandal. And the amounts that we're talking about in the billions. Here is your governor. We're going to listen real quick, and then I want to get your response. Here's Governor Walz.
What we found is these are poorly written, and it left openings, and the goal was to get the money.
So this was on Friday, this video of Walz right here.
Yeah, we'll fix that. But yeah, I'll take accountability for it. But what you're seeing here is you're seeing a weaponization. We'll continue to fix it. They're going to continue to come up with numbers that don't have it there, and it's sensationalized. I don't expect anything different from this administration.
That's what's up, Arizona Kirk. Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
He makes an argument that the numbers are sensationalized, not as big as what they seem, but this is pretty big, into the billions. I mean, I don't know if his argument is, oh, it's merely millions, but your thoughts?
Well, I don't look at this as a partisan issue. It's really about how are we...
Brother TVT, God bless and Merry Christmas. Great to see you, bro.
...spending our neighbors' money.
Good morning.
And from my chair, there has to be transparency and accountability. Talks about taking responsibility, but I don't hear anything about what we're going to do to fix it. It is what it is. We need to hold those accountables that committed this fraud, but then we got to look to how are we going to change our policies and our macro level environment to crawl out of this hole. And that's what I don't hear from the governor.
Mayor Andrew Mullen, thank you so much for joining us. Merry Christmas to you and all the people of Wayzata and Minnesota, I suppose. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Brutal. And then I think they continue on discussing this whole thing. So let's go ahead and see a little bit regarding, because they actually have the file, some of the extent of what they're doing here. And that's why I do actually want to see this part right here.
So nearly 100 Minnesota mayors expressing deep concern over the
98 of them, to be specific.
Shocking fraud in their state that we're still trying to get to the bottom of. In a letter to Governor Tim Walz, who's running for re-election, they write, quote, fraud, unchecked spending, and inconsistent fiscal management in St. Paul have trickled down to our cities, reducing our capacity to plan responsibly, maintain infrastructure, hire and retain employees, and sustain core services without overburdening local taxpayers. The Trump administration freezing.
Bro, that's why I didn't report anything yesterday. It was either mass or it was Christmas parades, which I respect both of those things, but definitely not something that I need to be reporting on.
$5.5 million in small business loans to Minnesota as the entire fraud scandal costing taxpayers up to $9 billion, and much of that money has left the country. Cross Lake, Minnesota Mayor Jimmy Puris
said a lot of that money has left the country. On top of that,
Pure Feast spearheaded the letter. He joins us now, along with fellow signer, South St. Paul Mayor Jimmy Francis. Let's start with you, Mayor Pure Feast. Tell me what prompted you to take action and marshal the other mayors.
You know, this originally started with 8 local mayors of the Brainerd Lakes area, seeing the policies coming out of the Capitol that are hurting our industry. We're very focused on tourism, and it's hard for businesses to retain employees. have some money coming in. So we decided to pen a letter. After I had posted it, mayors from across the state of Minnesota have said, this is great. How can I sign on? And so ever since then, I have championed and spearheaded this letter, and we have over 100 mayors now that are on this letter.
Oh, wow.
And it's only continuing to grow.
You said over 100 mayors.
Francis, how has your community been hurt?
Well, thanks for having us on and talking about this. My community is reaching out to me because they're not getting answers from DHS, from other legislators, and they're scared. There's so much unknown for what those programs are. And, you know, as a mayor, we are the front line. We try to help them. And so we've been taking them to our county officials to try to help them at least just get answers to their questions, because there's so much unknown and everything just stopped, which, you know, is part of that process. But there's so much no communication that's happened that those that are receiving those benefits are really scared.
What's up, Dirty? And Merry Christmas, by the way.
And
good morning.
You know, frightened of what's next because they don't know.
Medicaid's been raided, and also programs like Feeding Our Future. You're talking about $300 million gone. House stabilization, $302 million gone over 4 years. Autism treatment, which is basically just despicable, taking money set aside for kids with autism and giving it to parents with kids without autism, which is nuts. $192 million and $6 million in encouraging leaders, nonprofits. So that's generally, so all this money's gone. When did you become aware of this, Jackson?
You know, I would say there was talk at the beginning of this current year, but within the last 3 months, this has really gone downhill. And Brian, if we do the quick math, $9 billion in fraud divided by 5.79 million Minnesotans comes out to roughly be $1,500 a person that each Minnesotan, each hardworking Minnesotan has had stolen from them from the Walz administration and the policies coming out of St. Paul.
Do you believe the Attorney General knew nothing about this, Mayor Francis? Do you believe the governor knew nothing about this?
Look, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm a Minnesotan, and I'm frustrated with how it had happened, as well as the communication that's happened. So, really, our mayors are joining together not to point fingers and blame.
Wow, this is the fraud scheme right here. What funds were meant for: feeding children, helping recovering addicts find a place to live, helping disabled adults live independently, one-on-one therapy for autistic children. Where the funds allegedly went were wire transfers to China and East Africa, luxury real estate, luxury vacations, luxury vehicles, stacks of cash, jewelry. Shit.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Real quick, we got 355 of you guys in here right now. Make sure you guys double tap that screen, as well as hit that like button for me. You guys don't have to like the craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here on this channel. We do this Monday through Friday, as well as Saturday morning for members only, man.
But we're here to help solve the problem. That's what we do. That's what city councils do. That's what mayors do. We solve problems. We don't get to pass the buck off to somebody else. Right. And when fraud or anything bad happens in our community, you know, people lose their jobs and people get put on performance improvement plans. We don't see any of that. And we're expected to do that when things come with our state funds. They come with strings and they come with audits. And so, again, we're frustrated. We feel like we're put in a position that they're not put in, and they get a free pass, but we just have to struggle. And our communities are struggling.
Damn. So, I mean, they're really going against their own government, essentially, at this point. Damn.
Trying to make the ends meet at home, and we hear it.
I know it's nice to be nice, but you also have to get to the bottom of it, which means...
Yeah, state politics is brutal, by the way, everybody.
You're going to have to find out who's responsible, which means ultimately you have to point fingers. I'd like to find out if that money went to luxury real estate because someone bought it, luxury vacations, luxury vehicles, stacks of cash that might have left the country. You're talking about over 80 people have been indicted, many of which are convicted, and Jackson, many of them from the Somali community. There's a sense that if you accuse them of corruption, you be called a racist. Have you heard that?
You know, I haven't heard that personally, but yes, you know, I think it was hard to talk about Somalis or for the Democrats to talk about Somalis, but it doesn't matter if you're Somali, if you're African-American, if you're white. Fraud is fraud. And if you're stealing fraud,
W answer, bro.
You should be held accountable.
W. That's fucking right.
And who do you think should be holding them accountable? The mayors can only do so much. We have the Treasury doing an investigation. Go ahead.
I fully agree. I think the feds need to come in and do a full audit of the Minnesota books.
Right. And you notice in the 100 mayors, I don't know who's a Republican and who's a Democrat. I just saw 100 mayors because it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. We're all trying to advocate for our communities.
Absolutely. You
Trust.
deserve better. Absolutely. Guys,
Trust
thanks so much.
is the main thing.
Absolutely. And find out who is.
All right. And that is enough for this morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're past our hour mark. We consolidate everything into 1 hour. That's the beauty behind this channel right here. So anyways, much love, honor, respect, everybody. Make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be rating our buddy Rob Knorr. He's a fantastic political commentator. Make sure you guys go over there and let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball or Insane Wheels raid, whatever. All right. Much love, honor, respect to everybody. Rob's neighbor, which is Carrie, much love and respect to you as well. And Merry Christmas to everybody. And we'll see you guys here tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. Until then, God bless everyone.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges.